Welcome to Your Future is Now, hosted by Jim Grant and Bill Heinrich. Their show is dedicated to sharing information in business, health, and obstacles we face in our everyday lives. Jim is also the TV host of Messages of Inspiration and Hope on E360 TV. Bill is the author of 7 Levels of Truth and is a master in the world of getting clarity in your mind to clear out the cobwebs and remove mental barriers that hold you back. Each week, they will interview an exciting guest. We're so glad you've tuned in. Be sure to share the show. And now, here's Jim.
And welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Your Future is Now is proudly brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com. That's SIXminutewebinar.com. And ladies and gentlemen, we've got a wonderful show lined up for you today. Our guest is Mr. Dustin Potash. And you're going to hear stories how 2 lives help save each other, how dogs are taken from the shelter, the animal shelter, and they're trained and they're given to soldiers that suffer from PTSD. And not only does the dog's life get saved, but also the soldiers that suffer from PTSD. The suicide rate from soldiers from that, the last I heard, is none. No soldiers. I mean, that's how much value that the Shelter to Soldier organization provides for people that suffer, our soldiers that suffer from PTSD. And I'm joined today by Mr. Bill Heinrich. He is the honorary host here on the TogiNet radio station. And Mr. Bill, it's an honor to have you here. He's also, ladies and gentlemen, known as the Dean of the 6-Minute Webinar. How are you today, sir?
The Dean is good. Yeah.
Yeah. Here comes the judge.
The 6-minute webinar.
Well, you really are. You really are. You know, that's a title you earned, brother.
Well, we sure have a lot of fun with it, you know, and what's fascinating is the thing we've been running into lately is people are saying, what the heck do I need a 6-minute webinar for? That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In fact, I got an email from somebody who had done the 6-minute webinar last weekend. They went to our website, 6minutewebinar.com, signed up and went through and used it, and realized how little they knew about how to explain what they do.
Oh, yeah.
And by the time he got through it, he sent me an email and said, wow, this technology is really something. But then he sent me an email Tuesday or Wednesday and said, hey, I was in a masterclass today, and the guys running the masterclass when I came in were talking about the 6-minute webinar and making jokes about it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
He says, I stood up for you and told them you shouldn't make fun of something unless you know what it is, because if you can't get your message out in 6 minutes, you can't get it out in 60.
Yeah, there you go. That's exactly right.
It's so true, because people struggle with brevity. They struggle with clarity of keeping it short and sweet. Brevity is a very precious commodity because it shows other people that you really know what you're doing. You've got it nailed. It creates instant credibility and trust, Jim. In fact, we're doing a 6-minute webinar boot camp. Don and I, the co-founders of it, co-creators, I should say, because Jim's one of the founders too, but co-creators of it, on July 17th, we're doing a boot camp. And if you want to go through 3 hours of teaching that will blow your mind and what you learn, come to a 6-minute webinar boot camp. Just go to 6minutewebinar.com. You'll see down the page, the boot camp is one of our offers there. And you can sign up for it. If you can't come on the 17th, or if you're hearing this later, just go and sign up and you can get into our next one. Prior to coming to the boot camp, you have access to work with the application we have. All you have to do is answer 40 questions. We have an application called ScriptPal that writes your whole script for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a pretty amazing technology, and the boot camps are really a hoot, aren't they, Jim?
They really are, because what's amazing about the 3-hour boot camps is that with no bio breaks, no one complains, no one leaves, And it goes by so quickly because everybody is engaged in what they want to learn and about their business. And you take like nonprofits, for example, we have a nonprofit on today, sheltertosoldier.org. Many times, even nonprofits don't really know how to get their message across. This is who we are. This is what we do, to get people excited, because it has a call to action to it. Because, you know, there's been many times in my life when I've been ready to buy something, but the problem is I can't get the salesperson to shut up. They want to keep yakking and talking, you know, and people want to be, people want to, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was going to say, sales are no more.
Oh,
that's the old way.
Mm-hmm.
What you do now is create a value proposition.
There you go.
What you learn in the 6-minute webinar is the key words that you need to use whenever you speak about whatever you do, regardless if you're in a corporation, if you're a salesperson, if you're a solopreneur, if you're a healer, if you have a nonprofit. You learn a very refined message that speaks to the ideal person you want to engage with to have them involved with you in your business.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I tell people, hey, I use the 6-minute webinar format to craft a talk that I was going to give at a summit, international summit, and it worked out very well for us and opened up the doors for some other opportunities, just because I, used that 6-minute webinar, and I was invited back the next day to speak again.
Not only were you invited back the next day, the person that ran the summit was so impressed with the clarity and the way it works that they're now featuring us, the 6-minute webinar, on a summit for clarity of communication.
Yes.
Which will be the end of August. We'll give you more information about that.
Yes, absolutely. It just opens doors for you, because if you're an entrepreneur, or if you have a nonprofit, or if you're struggling in any area, what you need is the 6-minute webinar to give you clarity, do it in a very brief way, and be able to speak directly to your ideal clients without a lot of yakety sacks and nonsense. That's it in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, the people that come to the 6-minute webinar, the thing that fascinates me is the ones that give us the highest praise are the people with the most experience.
Yes.
And they've got decades of experience, and they go through the 6-minute webinar. In fact, next week, our guest is going to be Rennie Gabriel. Wealth on Any Income is his business. And Rennie said for 40 years, he's been looking for this answer, and he got it in the 6-minute webinar boot camp. He was stunned. In fact, talking about Rennie, the reason we have Dustin today is Dustin's nonprofit is a major benefactor of the profit and the money that Rennie makes in his wealth on any income. In fact, he gives all of his profits to Dustin's organization. I'll let you introduce Dustin, Jim.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Ladies and gentlemen, it's our pleasure to introduce Mr. Dustin Potash of sheltertosoldier.org. And I'm just going to say, Dustin, welcome to the show. Share a little bit about yourself and tell us a little bit about the sheltertosoldier.org organization.
Sure, I'd love to. Thanks again, Jim, for letting us have a platform to talk about our nonprofit, Shelter to Soldier. Currently, I am the veteran advocate and case manager at Shelter to Soldier. So basically, all of the applications of veterans come through me. I go over all their medical records and military history, just to see if they're a good fit for our organization. I'll tell you a little bit about myself first. I served for 12 years in the United States Army. I joined in 2002 as an artilleryman. I got sent to Fort Sill, Oklahoma, where I did my basic training in AIT. And then I got my first duty station was at the 101st Airborne Division in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. So yeah, it was the first kind of experience of me leaving my hometown. I grew up in LA, so it was a totally different experience. I was there for maybe about 6 months, and then they told us we were going to Iraq for the first invasion in Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a young kid at 19, almost 20 years old, I was, of course, scared, nervous, didn't know what to expect, and I got over to Kuwait where we were staged, and we finally crossed the border sometime. And if my memory serves me correctly, a little into the middle of March of 2003 is when we crossed the border.
Mm-hmm.
I saw some pretty serious things over there. We would, as artillery, I would, follow the infantry, and we would shoot rounds down range, whenever they would need it. And after we did our job, we would drive through what we had done, and it really had a huge impact on my psyche while I was there for a year, experiencing all this. Unfortunately, during my era and a lot of people's eras, you're really taught to suppress a lot of your emotions and what you're feeling physically or emotionally. It was really looked down upon, and there was really no help to get, if you're having these types of feelings. So,
Yeah.
I just put the left foot in front of the right foot and kept it moving for the next, 9, almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
After my first enlistment, I decided to stay in just because I like the structure that the military offered me, and I switched my job to mortuary affairs. So basically, I would take. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say we got about 1 minute left before we go to
Sorry.
commercial. So we'll be talking about the what you do there at Shelter to Soldier after we come back. But I'd just like to say before we go to commercial break, thank you so much for your service. I really appreciate the fact when you said when that plane took off, you didn't know what to expect. That was the same thing I felt, and I remember feeling when we took off for Vietnam in 1969. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll be right back right after this brief message from our sponsors, and we hope you stay tuned to hear more about this wonderful story of Shelter to Soldier, how 2 lives are saved. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Your Future is Now is proudly brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com, sixminutewebinar.com. And be sure to go to 6minutewebinar.com and check us out. Also, too, on Facebook, look for the 6minutewebinar.com, because on our Facebook page there, if you scroll down, you will see folks from all walks of life, just like you and me, who have made their own 6-minute webinar and just listen to their 6-minute webinar and imagine you having that much clarity, that much impact to your ideal client. That's the proof in the pudding, isn't it, Mr. Bill?
It really is. It really is indeed. It's just quite an experience narrowing your message down. But I want to get back to Dustin here. Dustin, what exactly is the Shelter to Soldier? What do you do?
Sure. So at Shelter Soldier, it started back in 2012. The founders, Graham Blome and his wife, Kyrie Blome, they saw a need to save veterans' lives and as well as save rescue dogs. They saw that we were losing between 22 veterans a day to suicide. And, they saw, 670,000 approximately dogs being euthanized. And they really wanted to figure out a way to what their mission says, saving lives 2 at a time. So they started this organization up, and really, the people that we're serving are post 9/11 combat veterans that have a combat-related mental health diagnosis. Things like PTSD, TBIs, panic disorders, generalized anxiety, etc.
It's really.
Go ahead, Jim.
I was just going to say, it's really amazing you got that wonderful program, because Ladies and gentlemen, as tragic as those things are on the human mind and in our lives, we should also be thankful that we're not calloused and hardened to that type of activity in our lives, because a lot of people do not enjoy the freedoms, the safety, and security in their world that we do in our world. And it's a very needed service, and I understand that, being a Vietnam vet. And Bill, let me turn the mic over to you, sir.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the way we heard about you, Dustin, was from Rennie Gabriel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we've had Rennie on the show, and he is a huge, huge advocate of yours. So talk about how you pair the service people up with dogs and what the results have been.
Sure, and yeah, like you said, Rennie is one of our biggest advocates. Um, so all of our dogs are sponsored by either a corporation or individual who just takes the time out of their day to say, I'm going to sponsor this dog, which costs around $15,000, to pair them up with a deserving veteran. So what usually happens is once a veteran is qualified to come in, we have a very organic process where they get to what we call speed date a bunch of dogs that we have available. So they'll meet like 4 to 5 dogs to see if there's any type of connection with any of them. And as soon as we kind of narrow it down to 1 or 2, we'll help that veteran kind of make the decision on which dog would benefit them the most just off of their daily lifestyles and symptoms.
Wow. So tell me, Dustin, about an example of somebody that you've paired up with a dog and what's happened in that veteran's life because of it.
Sure. I so just to let you guys know, I also went through the program and I am a recipient of a dog. So I can tell you firsthand exactly my experience. So I had a service dog prior to the one I have now, who passed away very suddenly, and all of my PTSD symptoms came back. So I reached out to Shelter the Soldier, and they got back to me within 24 hours, which was amazing. And within a couple of weeks, I was at their facility. I met 3 or 4 dogs, I believe, if I remember correctly, and it's all different breeds. I met a Doberman mix. I met a pit bull mix. I met a couple of pit bull mixes actually, and I just didn't have a connection yet. I said I'll wait. So then the next week I went. My primary trainer, she went to an adoption event and saw a dog. This is pre-COVID, and saw a dog there and said, "That dog is going to be Dustin's dog." And so I'm getting a little emotional right here because I'm thinking about what happened. Nigel, his name's Nigel, came through the door, and it was just an instant connection between the two of us. And ever since then, through our training, our bond has just been exceeded everything that I could ever imagine. I had quit school a few years ago, and just because I didn't have the motivation to go out, I was isolating from friends and family. But now with him by my side, I finished my master's degree, and I'm in the middle of my doctorate. Just having him next to me just gives me that good feeling.
Yeah.
And what is the subject on your doctorate?
Strategic leadership.
Amazing.
Yeah. So I mean, the impact of a dog is just it's so incredible. And fortunately, I was able to apply to be the veteran advocate at Shelter the Soldier, and I get to see this on a daily basis. This just magical connection of this vet who is wounded and this dog who was wounded, that both didn't know if they were going to be here another day on this world, and now they've come together in this beautiful, connection, and they're building these lives together, moving forward, and it's an amazing thing to be a part of.
Where do they find the dogs?
They go out to all of the local shelters around San Diego. They also have been up to San Francisco to get a dog. So it all kind of depends on where we can get a dog. We've partnered with a lot of the rescues around our area here, so they kind of know our criteria. So if they get a dog in, they feel that they could, possibly fit for our program, our training department will go out and evaluate the dogs to see if they'd be a good fit.
Amazing. And then how long is the training for the dogs?
So for the dogs, it's almost about a year. Once a dog comes in, they start training those dogs right away for house manners, obedience, advanced obedience, and they don't even meet a veteran until those skills are ingrained in those dogs. One of the biggest kind of niches we have with our program that kind of differs from other nonprofits who are doing similar things is that we don't need a veteran to go get a dog. So we're constantly bringing dogs in as they graduate, so that by the time a veteran applies, they don't have to wait a year or 2 years to get a dog. We always have dogs ready for them to start coming in and start training with those dogs.
Whoa, that is huge. I love that. I really do.
Yeah.
And Dustin, would you be so kind as to share with the folks the website where people can find out about these wonderful dogs and what the wonderful work they do with soldiers, and also the email address, if you would, sir?
Sure. So if you want to get some more information, you can go to our website. It's shelter2soldier.org. We have a bunch of information on there. We have some events coming up. We have a gala coming up in August that you can get the information for. And if you want to reach me directly, you can reach me at veteran services at shelter2soldier.org. I'm always happy to answer any questions, or if there's a veteran out there listening that needs more information or needs a resource, I'm always available.
Yes, we're going to also share this radio show, ladies and gentlemen, because it's live, but it's recorded, and we're going to be, we're picked up on many podcasts, all the major podcasts, but we're also going to be able to upload it to our YouTube channel, which is Your Future Is Now on YouTube. And we're going to be able to share this, the YouTube video, the MP4, on veteran sites and things like that, because this is extremely important. And these dogs literally they're service dogs, and they're your pup is your sidekick, isn't he, Dustin?
Oh, definitely. He goes with me everywhere I'm at. We tell a lot of the veterans that, it's a big commitment. You're going to be with this dog more than you are with, your partner in life.
Yeah.
They're always with you.
Yeah, I bet so, because dogs just, I'm a dog lover, and dogs are just part of your family. They really are. The attachment that you get there is just like they're a fur baby. That's exactly what they are. And I get a kick out of people nowadays. They show pictures of their pup having a birthday party with a birthday hat, and the pup says, "What did I do to deserve this?" Oh my goodness, we're getting pretty close, a couple minutes down before we go to commercial break again. But Mr. Bill, I tell you, this is one incredible organization, and they do a lot of good work, don't they, sir?
It's really, really amazing. What kind of dog do you have, Dustin?
Yeah.
So we did a DNA test on him, and he is a pit bull mixed with a golden retriever.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a character looking dog.
Oh yeah. And he's your sidekick, your buddy, and he's, it's just wonderful, a beautiful story of two lives being saved and two lives being joined. And goodness gracious, it's just a win-win situation. Oh my goodness, I love this. We're going to be back in just a few seconds after we go to, we got a few seconds left, I should say, before we go to commercial break. And again, the website is shelter2soldier.org. And be sure and check it out. And ladies and gentlemen, we're about ready to go to tunes for the commercial break. We'll be right back right after this brief message. Stay with us. And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're so glad that you're with us. That Your Future Is Now, as you know, is proudly brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com. That's sixminutewebinar.com. Go there and check it out. And also go to the Facebook page, 6minutewebinar.com. Like it. But most importantly, check out the 6-minute webinar videos that other people from all walks of life, just like you and me, have made. And just ask yourself, wow, how could I use this in my business? And game over. It's self-explanatory. It really is. And I'm joined today by the honorary host here on TogiNet Radio, Mr. Bill Heinrich, who is fondly known around the world as the Dean of the 6-Minute Webinar. We got a good show going today, don't we, Bill?
You know, it's really, really good. And I've got a couple of questions here for Dustin. Dustin,
Okay.
The first question is, give me another. You've been with Shelter to Soldier how long now?
Almost a year of working there, but I've been affiliated with the program, going through it for about 2 years.
For about 2 years. So
Yeah.
give me tell me like another quick story of where you hooked somebody up with a dog and what's happened in their life. 'Cause this is so powerful.
Yeah, sure. You know, we've graduated, you know, a ton of veterans since 2012. You know, all the veterans that are coming in, they all have some sort of mental health disability due to combat. We just had, you know, a recent veteran who graduated our program who was really going through a tough time. You know, even through the program, you know, he was, you know, going through a divorce because of his symptoms. His job performance was declining. And when I first met him, he was in a really bad place. And what he told me was that just being accepted to the program gave him that small light at the end of the tunnel to keep moving forward. And that really touched me, you know, like just hearing somebody say, "You've accepted me, and I don't want to end my life today anymore." You know, it gives you chills. And I got the pleasure of watching this young man go through the program, and every time I saw him, it brought out his personality every single time I saw him. And I got to learn more about him, and he was able to open up more. One of the great things about our program is that about 98% of the people that work there are either prior military or military related, like their spouses in the military. So it's a very comfortable place for a veteran coming in to talk about things, you know, with somebody who's also experienced it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, go ahead.
Go ahead, Dustin.
You know, that's really hard for some veterans to do, is to talk to somebody about their experience, especially to somebody who hasn't experienced what they've experienced.
Oh, yeah. One of the things that I experienced when I came back from Nam in 1970, when people asked me, said, what was it like over there? And I just kind of like look at them and I couldn't say a word because you just can't. You just cannot open up. And the thing that I love about these dogs, they can just open up the love in their heart for that dog. And that is the beginning. That's what life is all about, having love in your heart. And Bill Heinrich, yeah, I tell you right now, Mr. Bill, you are a subject matter expert on that in the heart, because you wrote a book called The 7 Levels of Truth. And sir, I got to salute you on that, because you just smacked it out of the park, because you too have got skin in the game when it comes to having love in your heart. And I see these dogs giving love and receiving love. It's a win-win situation, isn't it, Bill?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's just absolutely amazing. What are some of the needs that Shelter to Soldier has? If somebody wanted to get involved, if they wanted to donate, if help out, how would they get a hold of Shelter to Soldier, and what sort of assistance is Shelter to Soldier looking for?
Sure. So just to be clear for, you know, anyone who's listening, especially veterans, that this program is 100% free to veterans who come to the program. It's totally, there's absolutely no cost whatsoever, no hidden cost, nothing. which is great. A lot of people aren't financially able to pay $15,000 for a dog to be their own service dog. So
Right.
the whole program is funded by donations, and what we call Red Star sponsors. Anybody can go donate on the website at shelterthesoldier.org. And then we have what's called, like I said, Red Star sponsors. And Red Star sponsors are the people who are actually sponsoring an entire dog's life while at the program. And this is how we're able to say this veteran does not have to pay a single dime for this dog, while they're in the program.
That is huge. And let me ask a question. Something popped in my mind there. How about someone that's, loves this program and they would love to create a fundraiser for it? I mean, a lot of people can do things like that. That'd be a wonderful thing. Even on their Facebook page, they could put down sheltertoasoldier.org as their personal fundraiser, not just for their birthday, but for every day, because this is an everyday need. Isn't that right, Dustin?
Yeah, you're definitely right. We appreciate everything that we could get to help out these dogs and these veterans. So, setting up fundraisers on your own personal pages. If you want to do like huge gala events, you can always reach out to myself and we can talk about things like that. Veteran services at shelterthesoldier.org. We've had plenty of people do that. Our number one thing, we always don't like to ask for money, but that's part of the job. But the other side of it is just tell somebody about us. That's one of the biggest things we can ask is just tell somebody about us. Tell a veteran that who might need some help about us.
That's huge, because a lot of folks out there, they may know a veteran, and maybe the veteran will not talk to them, but just recommend to them or give them the website. Say, hey, you need to check these guys out. They're your kind of people. And I tell you, that would be a wonderful thing that people could do. And of course, that getting the word out, that's the big thing, isn't it, Dustin?
It's huge. Getting the word out, especially to the veteran community and those who would like to sponsor a dog, which would, it's $15,000. It covers the veterinary fees, the training fees, the food, everything the dog would need for the entire time they're there for. That's about a year, so that the veteran can not have to put any money into this dog. We love that. We love people who step up to do things like that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And that is a great way for people to be able to give back to the men and women that serve this great nation, Bill. It's because we all enjoy a great amount of freedom here in the United States. And a lot of people who come to this country legally, they also appreciate and love this country because of what it stands for. And it's because of the men and women that served in the military that make that happen. And I'm just honored to have served 31 years myself. And Bill, I tell you, this is one of the most worthy programs that we've had to be able to help reach out and give back to the men and women in their hour of need. That's extremely important in all walks of life, to be able to help someone in their hour of need, isn't it, Bill?
Jim, it's such a big problem that servicemen come back and don't get the support that they need. I've learned so much from Joel Peterson. In fact, we'll have to hook Dustin and Joel up. Joel works also on suicide prevention for veterans. And to have a program like this is just, it's just amazing to hear Dustin say that, he's gotten his master's and is now going for his doctorate. Pretty incredible, Dustin. It's pretty incredible.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I get to see it on a daily basis, the transformation of these two lives. I did forget to mention this. I know we're running short on time, but I did forget to mention Red Star sponsors get the coolest gift of all, is they actually get to name the dog.
Oh, that's
neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of a pretty cool little perk that, you know, you get to name a dog. It's pretty cool.
Absolutely. That is a wonderful thing. And I just, there's so many people out there. I know one lady, bless her heart, anytime that she goes to the animal shelter, she's coming home with something. And I mean, you've heard of people having, cattle ranch. She has a dog and cat ranch. Because it's just, think about saving the life of a dog that has no future, and how that dog can give love and create a future for someone that's suffering from PTSD or the other issues that affect all men and women in combat, and even people that that's not combat related, because PTSD is not limited just to military personnel. It's a worthy thing to have a dog that can help others. And it might inspire someone out there to say, hey, let's expand this program, and that would be a wonderful thing too.
Right, exactly. You had mentioned, it's a need that's needed every day. That number 20 to 22, that number hasn't changed very much in the past, almost 10 years. That number has stayed the same, and there's an issue there, right? That number should be declining, which is one of the reasons why we started this program, to do our part to try and get that number, eventually down to zero, where we don't have jobs anymore. That's the goal.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And the success rate of the program, my goodness gracious, that's just the icing on the cake, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're about 30 seconds, a little less than that, from going to another commercial break. And Dustin's going to be back with us to share a little bit more information about the sheltertosoldier.org project and what they do there, saving 2 lives. My goodness gracious, the dog gets saved and so does the soldier. And we'll be right back right after this brief message. Stay with us. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. Your Future is Now is proudly brought to you by the good guys at the 6minutewebinar.com, sixminutewebinar.com. And this last portion of the show, oh my goodness, Mr. Bill, we're going to share some great information after visiting with Dustin, aren't we, brother?
Yeah, it's the show's going by too fast, because there's so much more to Shelter to Soldier, and the ability to not only save a dog's life, save a vet's life. It makes such a difference.
Amen.
What other programs do they have? Do they have other programs at Shelter to Soldier, Dustin? And if you do, just a quick overview of a couple of the other things you're doing.
Sure. Yeah. So aside from our main mission is with the service dogs, we also understand that, not all veterans have been to combat. A lot of stuff happens here in the States, and they qualify for what we have, an emotional support animal program. So, yeah, the big difference between the service animal is a service animal can go anywhere the public can and is trained to do specific tasks to mitigate symptoms. An emotional support animal is more like a buddy. Doesn't have to go with you everywhere, but is happy to see you when you're home, is really well behaved and trained, and is in tune to your emotions. So that's one of the programs that we offer to veterans or actually active duty as well, who are here stateside who haven't been to combat.
So, real quickly again, give the website and where people can get in touch with you or make a donation to support veterans that are suffering.
Sure. So the main website is sheltertosoldier.org. All of our contact information is on there. But if you specifically want to get in touch with me as well, you can reach me at my email, veteranservices@sheltertosoldier.org. And all this information I'm talking about, it's on our website. It talks about different programs as well.
Absolutely. And all the information that he is talking about, as far as the website and email and all that will be in the description of the show. So please check it out and share this show with others, because there's a lot of people out there that could really benefit today, not tomorrow, but today, because when someone's contemplating suicide, they need help right now. And Bill, I tell you, this is one of an incredible story that Dustin is sharing with us. I'm just still sitting here, and I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm going like, wow. I wish this would have been around back in the 70s. It would have benefited a lot of us old boys now.
Yeah, well, I want to give a shout out to Rennie Gabriel, who's been on the show.
Yes.
In fact, he's coming on again next week, but 100% of his profits from his wealth on any income, he gives to Shelter to Soldier. And he was the one that came on and talked about it. In fact, I saw your interview, Dustin, on Facebook with Mark Porteous and Rennie.
Oh, great.
And
yeah.
Yeah, and I immediately got a hold of Jim and said, "Hey, we have got to get Dustin on the radio show. Like, we need to help get the word out here, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
So many people want to help, but they don't know how to, right, Jim?"
Absolutely. And when Bill told me that, I got on the horn right away to Rennie Gabriel, and I says, Rennie, how do I get in touch with these people here? And he put us in touch with Dustin. And ladies and gentlemen, that just happened just a few days ago, as a matter of fact, because we had a schedule had to be readjusted due to some illness. And we are so thankful. So that being said, if there's a topic out there that you listeners are saying, hey, you guys should cover this, please let us know. You can email me at inspiration@e360tv.com. That's e360tv.com, inspiration at e360tv.com. We'll be glad to listen to you and also respond, because good shows like this is the kind of quality shows we strive to put on every single week. And Bill does a great, great job. That is why he's the honorary host here on TogiNet, brother. Proud that you're here, Bill.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to help out, and it's just hearing about this and getting quality information out to our audience, so they can help and participate. What have we missed here, Dustin? What is it that you'd really like to share with the audience? Is there anything that comes to mind?
Just so we have some exciting news. We are a young nonprofit, and we're always trying to expand and reach more veterans. We have started a pilot program where we're taking in a few veterans per year from out of state. Right now we're in Southern California, and that's mainly who we're getting our who are applying. But we see the need is not just in Southern California. There's veterans across the nation, and the final goal is to become a nationwide nonprofit, so that we're connecting rescue dogs with veterans and saving their lives two at a time. So that's the big news from Shelter to Soldier right now. We have one veteran that we brought in who's starting very soon, and you'll probably have him all over social media, so you guys can follow at sheltertosoldier.org.
And your Facebook page, is that Shelter to Soldier, or is it .org? How do they find you on Facebook?
Just type in Shelter to Soldier. You can find us on Facebook that way. We're also on Instagram as well as LinkedIn. Just Shelter to Soldier. You had brought up Rennie Gabriel before, and I just want to let you guys know that not only does all of his profits from the wealth on income is financial services, but he also has offered his financial services for free to our veterans in our program. So we just want to thank him for that.
Yes, Rennie Gabriel he's just a fantastic guy. He focuses on how to give back. And the thing I love about Rennie came from the post side of town. I mean, 35 or 40 years ago, he was so broke, he was picking up aluminum cans on the side of the road to sell them and be able to buy groceries to help feed his family. That's about as poor as you get, folks. But look how Rennie gives back now. Oh, my goodness. Tremendous.
Yeah. Tremendous.
And
we
Bill,
also,
go ahead, Dustin.
Go ahead, Dustin.
Sure. Just one more program that we're building right now. It's called our Canine Ambassadors. So a lot of these dogs are are pets that have been trained to be therapy dogs. So a lot of the staff there have their own pets, but they get put their dogs through this, it's called TDI training, to become therapy dogs. And that enables us to reach veterans on an immediate basis on a larger scale, where we can take these dogs to VA hospitals, to on-base hospitals, to VFWs, events. These are the dogs that typically people think about when they hear the word therapy dog or service dog. These are the ones that they can pet and they can touch and they can cuddle with, and that's their job.
Wow.
So that's an awesome program that and we're always looking for people who want to be a part of that program, that want to get their dog trained and be a canine ambassador for Shelter to Soldier.
Wow, that's quite an honor, Bill. It really is. Imagine going into a hospital and lightening someone's load for that day and let them know you're going to be back next week, same time, and all that. It gives them something to look forward to. And that's what life is all about. You got to have something to look forward to in life.
Definitely. At Shelter to Soldier, we always talk about this light at the end of the tunnel. And you talk about, something to look forward to. And we celebrate small victories at Shelter to Soldier. It's hard for some veterans to even get in a car and drive a mile down the road. So when they show up for their lesson, that's a small victory that we strive to celebrate them.
Oh, yeah.
And it's great to see that as I watch a veteran go through the program, how big, their victories are. It went from just driving down to their lesson, to now being able to go out to a concert or the grocery store without having any fear or anxiety.
Oh, yeah. A lot of people don't realize how that enslaves you. And living in fear is the worst. That's the worst place you can hang your hat at. And I tell you, I just want to thank you for coming on the show today. My goodness gracious, we got about a little over 2.5 minutes left. And I just want to say thank you so much for sharing this information. And folks, you can start a fundraiser, do whatever you want to. Check out that organization because there's a lot going on, as you heard, sheltertosoldier.org and veteran services at sheltertosoldier.org is how you can get in touch with Dustin. And Bill, I tell you, this is just a wonderful, wonderful program, isn't it, buddy?
It's really, really incredible. And Dustin, we so appreciate you coming on. We realize this is your first time on the radio, but it's not that bad, is it?
Oh no, it's great.
We're just
great.
we're just having a conversation, and it's just stepping forward like that. We never know who's out there, Dustin, that's going to hear this message and be able to help other veterans come in and help you out, because people are always looking for different ways to give and to help out, and many times they aren't sure what to do. And if there was ever a cause where we could help others and make a difference, there's nothing better in my mind, Jim, than being able to help the veterans that allow us to live free.
Absolutely, because they're on the third tier when it comes to government assistance. And you always hear about the House and Ways Means Committee here, but that's a tier 1. Helping the veterans is a tier 3, but you don't have to wait for anybody else for you to be active in your life and also help make a difference in someone else's life, because really life is all about one person helping another person in their hour of need, regardless of what that need is. The little things, the little victories in life, that's what really makes life worth living. And Bill, I'm just so honored to be here with you and Dustin today. And I just want to say a big thank you to both of you.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Bill, for allowing us to share this with you guys. And I hope we have a continued relationship and talk again.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we really, really appreciate you coming on. And next week, as I said, we'll have Rennie Gabriel with Wealth on Any Income, who donates all of his profits to Shelter for Soldier. We'll see you next week, folks.